takeoff course. Once at 1,000 feet, continue climbing in a left 30-degree bank. Set airspeed to 350 knots.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode. Today we're on the F-5 doing the next training, which is flight and radio navigation. Seems like we're going to take off, turn around. We're going to be looking at these gauges, seeing what that means. Let's get it going.
Welcome to this training mission devoted to navigation. To successfully complete this mission, you should first complete the takeoff and landing lessons. Press space when you are ready to begin. Your aircraft is located on runway 30 at the Shukumi Babushara airfield. The main goal of this lesson is to navigate to Shinaki airfield using the Tacan navigation system. Adjust the altimeter pressure reference to sea level by using the left Alt plus B keys. Check the airfield QNH by opening the briefing in the weather section. Press space to continue.
Said press what? Left Alt B key. Briefing. There we go. QNH 759 29.88. $29.88, right? That's what we saw. $29.88. Yep.
The Tactical Aircraft Navigation is a global network of omnidirectional radio beacons with unique frequency codes that are used by military aircraft. This system provides you with navigation information such as magnetic bearing, distance to a beacon, and lateral deviation from the selected Tacan course. Set the Senaki-Kohli's Tacan beacon frequency on the navigation panel. Set 31X in the channel indicator by rotating the channel selector knobs by using the mouse. Set the mode selector to the TR mode by using the right mouse button or by pressing below on the navigation mode panel. Set the nav mode switch to the Tacan position by using the mouse button, or if you are already familiar with the mission briefing, flight plan, and navigation equipment, you can take off now. If you are performing this lesson for the first time, it is recommended that you press the space key.
All right.
Navigation system operation. You should be hearing the beacon call sign, the volume of which can be adjusted using the volume knob located on the navigation panel. The HSI provides navigation information to the selected Tacan beacon. The triangle bearing pointer on the HSI shows a magnetic bearing of 120 degrees to the selected Tacan station, and the miles range indicator shows the distance to it. If you zoom in on the Senaki-Kohli airfield using the F10 map, you can see the Tacan beacon labeled as TSK Channel 31. This type of navigational beacon is installed off to the side of the runway. Therefore, it does not guide aircraft directly over the runway threshold, but rather slightly off-center. This fact must be taken into account during the final approach. Once you visually identify the runway, fly the approach to the runway threshold. Press space to continue. In the center part of the course pointer, which should point to the takeoff course, there is a vertical bar that indicates the level of course deviation. This bar is deflected to the left, indicating that our aircraft is located to the right of the course line. This can be adjusted using the CRS knob and passing over the Tacan station. In this case, you will need to come left to get on course. While flying towards the desired course, the deviation bar will move towards the center of the course line in the HSI. When the deviation bar is centered, fly along the course as set by the CRS knob. Press space to continue. We will now review the flight plan, which is shown as Figure 2 in the briefing left Alt plus B. Once airborne, follow the takeoff course with 10 degrees pitch. At an altitude of 1,000 feet, perform a left turn with a 30-degree bank angle at a speed of 350 knots while simultaneously climbing. Figure 3. At an altitude of 6,000 feet, turn towards Sinaki-Koli Airfield on a course of 116 degrees. To make it easier, set the heading marker to 116 degrees by rotating the HDG knob with the mouse wheel or by pressing the left Alt plus left Shift plus 2 and left Alt plus left Shift plus 1 keys.
That's 112.
Turn the aircraft for level flight at an altitude of 6,000 feet and a speed of 350 knots. Then, set a desired course of 116 degrees using the CRS knob. Fly towards the selected Tacan station by keeping the aircraft on the directed course. In case of course deviation, the deviation bar will deflect to the side, to which you must turn to compensate for the deviation. Using the triangle on the HSI, which points to the selected Tacan beacon, you can also estimate relative radio bearings by the difference between your current course and beacon bearing. The example, shown on the Figure 4, shows a situation where the Tacan bearing differs from a course of 10 degrees. To return the aircraft back on course, you must adjust the current course using the following approach. Multiply the difference between the beacon bearing and current course by 2 and turn at 20 degrees towards the Tacan beacon. As a result, the course deviation bar begins to return to center position. When it is close to center, maintain the aircraft to the desired course. Press space to continue. You are currently flying at 6,000 feet above sea level. Descend to 2,400 feet above ground level. To calculate this value in reference to the sea level altimeter, you must add 2,400 to the airfield ASL. The landing airfield elevation is 43 feet. Normally, to simplify calculations, the elevation is rounded to 0 if it is less than 50, or to 100 if it is bigger than 50. In this case, the airfield elevation will be rounded to 0 and not taken into account. However, for mountain airfields, these values can be substantial and play an important role. To determine the distance the aircraft covers flying at 300 knots and descending 3,600 feet with a vertical speed of 2,000 feet per minute, we must discard 2 trailing zeros and divide the receipt number by 4. The result equals 9. The aircraft covers 9 nautical miles when descending from an altitude of 6,000 feet to a landing pattern altitude of 2,400 feet. Add 5 miles to this value needed for changing the desired course and start descending at 14 miles from Tacan beacon. Press space to continue. Flying over the Tacan beacon, you must turn towards the course, which differs 23 degrees from the downwind leg. According to the flight plan, you will land on runway 27 at Sinaki-Koli Airfield. The landing course for this runway can be viewed using the F10 map. Press on the ruler symbol and then click the left mouse button on the runway and drag it along the runway in the direction of landing. At the end of this line, the true landing course is shown. To get the magnetic course, subtract the magnetic deviation of the region from the true course. The landing course of 268 degrees can be obtained from the airfield's landing chart on the kneeboard, right shift K. The downwind leg course is equal to 268 minus 180 equals 88 degrees. Adding 23 degrees to this value, we will get 111 degrees. While flying towards the airfield, rotate the CRS knob to set a desired course of 111 degrees. After passing the Tacan beacon, fly this course to the point where you begin your final approach landing course. Press space to continue. When flying over a Tacan beacon, readings are unstable and precise navigation is not possible. Fly 2 miles away from the beacon and only then start following the deviation bar to place the aircraft on the desired course. Turn towards the landing course when you are 13 miles away from the beacon. At 5 miles prior to this point, rotate the CRS knob to set a landing course of 268 degrees. When this point is reached, turn towards the landing course with 30 degrees left bank, a speed of 300 knots while maintaining an altitude of 2,400 feet. When the turn is performed, reduce RPM to reach 260 knots and then extend the landing gear. Continue level flight at an altitude of 2,400 feet and a landing speed of plus 20 knots up to the glide path entry point. Press space to continue. The landing speed is calculated based on the remaining amount of fuel and armament. With 1,000 pounds of remaining fuel and no armament, the landing speed of the F-5E is 145 knots. If remaining fuel is more than 1,000 pounds, your approach and landing speed must be increased by 1 knot per 200 pounds over. If the guns have a full ammunition load, you need to increase the speed for another 5 knots. According to estimations based on flight plan, during the approach and landing, your aircraft will have approximately 1,000 pounds of fuel and full gun ammunition. Using the set index knob, set a calculated landing speed of 150 knots on the airspeed and Mach indicator with help of the mouse wheel or by pressing the left Alt plus left Shift plus Q and left Alt plus left Shift plus W
Oh my god.
keys. At a distance of 8 miles, begin descending with a vertical speed of 700 to 800 feet per minute and calculated airspeed of 150 knots. At an altitude 1,200 feet plus airfield altitude, the position of the aircraft on the glide path must be checked. The distance to the Tacan beacon should be 4 miles. If you are further than that, it indicates that your aircraft is below the glide path. Reduce your vertical speed. If you are closer than 4 miles, increase vertical speed because you are flying above the glide path. When you have checked the location of the aircraft relative to the glide path, locate the runway visually to estimate the landing approach and if it was performed correctly. Pre-takeoff briefing is finished. Perform takeoff.
Alrighty. Beautiful.
take off course. Once at 1,000 feet, continue climbing in a left 30-degree bank. Set airspeed to 350 knots.
And then let's drop the trim. If not, you're gonna be going to the moon.
6,000 feet. Follow a course of 116 degrees.
Going a little fast. It's okay. Beep beep. That is annoying. Drop it down a bit. $6,000.
Set the desired course of 116 degrees by rotating the CRS knob with the mouse wheel or by pressing the left Alt plus left Shift plus 3 and left Alt plus left Shift plus 4 keys. After that, follow this course and compensate for the deviation. If needed, bank the aircraft in the direction of the deviation to keep the deviation bars centered on the HSI course line.
Doing pretty good. I love the weather. Maintain a speed of 350. Drop it down a little bit. There we go.
Keep most of your attention on the ADI, variometer, and HSI. Monitor the other gauges to maintain required flight parameters and engine operation only. Take into account the possible impact of wind drift while flying the directed route.
37 miles left. Back to 6,000 feet. $350, 6,000. Looking good. Nose is still climbing. Not what we want. The constant play. Lowered speed a little bit. Dropping the trim just a tad bit. Trying to stay within our parameters. $23 miles left. That does not say, but the briefing does, right? So is that 14 miles? We got good on the course. Clean plane. Going back to cloud coverage.
Reduce your speed to 300 knots. At a distance of 14 miles from the Tacan beacon, begin descending with a vertical speed of minus 2,000 feet per minute to an altitude of 2,400 feet.
Speed 300. Up it down. Come on. Better skies coming along. $2,400 feet. There we go. Trying to hold it there as best as we can. Play with the trims a little bit. Still kind of messing with the trim, kind of getting it where we want it. Such a beautiful game. I love this game. Can't say it enough. Dropping speed, let's pick up a little bit. Four miles away. Should be able to see it. How the hell did we? What? Never goes as planned. Okay. Should have looked at this arrow right there. That's where it follows the Tacan signal. But they were saying something about 10 miles away. So we're just gonna turn here. Have it behind us. Till it reaches 10 miles. $2,400 feet is where we need to go. Holding at roughly 300 knots. 2,400 feet reached, and about to hit. We just hit 10 miles, 11 miles. So now let's turn. So you can see the arrow where Tacan signal is. Miles away, still turning. Right around here we got our signal. And let's take a look at this, right? Because technically we have to adjust our course. Actually, if we look at it here, 2.7 should be the course heading. If we do that, technically that's what it is. So we're climbing up when we're supposed to be going down. That's okay. 274, I think it was. Is that what it was? 274. So there we go. See it right there, our runway. Let's drop gear.
When you are close to the airfield, set desired course to 111 degrees by rotating CRS knob with the mouse wheel or by pressing the left Alt plus left Shift plus 3 and left Alt plus left Shift plus 4 keys.
111, we're landing, buddy. shoot.
You have landed at the Sanaki Koli airfield. Clear the runway and taxi to the parking ramp.
Uzi 1-1, taxi to parking area.
The bearing pointer changes its position, flips backwards when you fly over the Tacan beacon. Follow a course of 111 degrees to your initial landing course turn.
Maintain the altitude. You are just behind. You know, that's what happens when you go off course. When the computer reads that you're in the area for the next
Dark Star 6-1, pushing from waypoint 1 at 12,000.
maintain altitude 2400. We already landed. Maybe we were supposed to head back, but you know what? We're okay with this. You don't need a lot of, damn, 30 minutes.
Using this instrument landing pattern, you can land at any airfield equipped with the Tacan system. Remember or write down, altimeter is set to the airfield pressure in reference to the sea level. Maneuver altitude is 2,400 feet plus altitude of the airfield. Calculated angle of turn after passing the beacon is 23 degrees. Distance to turn point towards landing course is 13 miles. Turn
right
is
here.
performed at 300 knots with 30-degree bank. Glide path entry point is 8 miles from the runway threshold at an altitude of 2,400 feet plus airfield altitude. Descending on the glide path is performed with a vertical speed of -700 to 800 feet per minute and with specific speed calculated based on remaining fuel and armament. We can now conclude this navigation lesson. Well done. Press
Thank
escape
you.
to exit the mission.
There we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little quick. Well, 30 minutes, still not fast, but you know me. I don't like to cut through training videos. I'm trying to get better at editing, so bear with me still. Anywho, hit that like, hit that sub, and I'll catch you in the air next time. Peace.